Most people hear AI at work and immediately reach for the star anise. This episode is about getting really good at the SALT first. And in my experience, at least 70% of the lift at work comes from exactly that. If you've been watching this series, you've heard me talk about hallucinations, getting started, and building better prompting habits. Today, we're taking all of that into work. Prompting is like salt. It makes almost everything better. Low effort, low cost, works across basically every dish. You don't need a special reason to use it. Autonomous agents, on the other hand, are more like star anise. Incredibly powerful in the right recipe, but if you throw it in everything, it gets overwhelming fast. It can get expensive, and it can go wrong in ways that are very hard to undo. Next week, we're going to get more into connectors and what it actually means to give AI access to your accounts, but today, we're just building your library. Part 1, the noticing habit. Before you can build anything useful, you need to notice what you actually do repeatedly. Pay attention for a week to the moments where you think, I've done this before. The email you write every time a project kicks off, the summary you put together every Friday, the way you respond when someone asks for a status update. Those are your candidates. Those are the things worth building a prompt for. A good repeatable task for a prompt has a few qualities. First, it follows a similar structure every time. There's a clear shape to it, even if the details change. Second, the inputs are things you can actually provide. Context, notes, the original message, whatever the raw material is. And third, and this is arguably the most important one, it's easy to verify. You can look at the output and quickly tell if it's right or completely off. The last one actually matters more than people realize. A weekly summary is a great prompt candidate because you can glance at it and immediately know, yeah, that's right, or wait, that's not what happened at all. But something like writing performance feedback for a colleague, that's harder. AI can confidently generate things that sound right but are subtly off, attributing something to the wrong project, mischaracterizing an interaction, and now you're spending time fact-checking instead of saving time. For that kind of task, a better use is something like, give me a list of things I've mentioned working on with this person over the last few months, use that as a memory jog, and then do the actual thinking yourself. You're still getting value, just staying in the loop where it matters. Part 2, your prompt library and where to save it. Here's the shift I want you to make. Instead of thinking of prompts as one-off questions, start thinking of them as reusable tools. A prompt library is just a collection of prompts you've written, tested, and saved, organized so you can actually find and reuse them. There's a feature built for exactly this called Skills. You save your prompt once, give it a name, and from then on you just invoke it. No hunting through a Google Doc, no copy-pasting the whole thing every time. It lives right there inside the chat. Here's what a library entry might look like. Name could be something like weekly status update. You can explain that it should be used at the end of the week when you need to summarize what you've worked on, and there can be a prompt in there that kind of takes into account all the context that you need. You write it once, you tweak it the first couple times you use it, and then you have a tool that works every week without having to start from scratch. Part 3. Cost and access. Quick but important to know is that a lot of the AI tools being marketed for work are not free. Costs can add up fast, especially once you start experimenting with automations or agent workflows running in the background. The good news is that prompting is essentially free. Claude has a free tier, ChatGPT has a free tier, Gemini has a free tier. You can build an entire prompt library and get real meaningful value without spending a single penny. As you go further, connectors, integrations, agents, that's where cost and access start to matter more. When you connect a tool to your email or your calendar, you're giving it real access to real data. That's a different kind of commitment, and it's worth thinking carefully about. We'll go deeper on that next week, but for now, start free. Build the habit, see the value, then decide if and where you want to go further. Part 4. A worked example. Let's make this concrete. Say you're in a role where you regularly need to respond to emails from people asking for updates on a project, a request, a timeline. You write some version of the same email probably 3 or 4 times a week. Here's exactly how you'd build a library entry for that. Step 1. Notice the pattern. You've written this email before. It follows roughly the same shape every time. Acknowledge the ask, give the current status, set expectations for next steps. Step 2. Write the prompt once. Maybe something like, I need to respond to an email asking for a status update. Here's the original message. Here's where things actually stand. Write a professional warm response. Step 3 is just to test it and tweak it. So you can run it a couple of times, adjust the instructions, adjust the tone to make sure it feels the way that you want it to feel. And then finally, step 4 is to save it as a skill. Once you are happy with the outputs it's giving you, you can give it a name, and now it lives inside of your chat interface, inside of your library, and you can call it up anytime. No copy pasting required. And that's the whole system. Not an agent, not an automation, just a tool you built once that makes a recurring part of your job faster and that you can verify in 30 seconds. And that's it. AI at work doesn't have to mean handing things off to an automated system. It can just mean having better tools for the things you already do and staying in the loop where it matters. Build your library. Start with one prompt and add to it as you notice more patterns. Next week, we're going up one level. Connectors. What it means to give AI access to your accounts and how to decide if the trade-off is worth it. It's a good one. If this was helpful, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you already have a prompt you swear by at work, drop it in the comments. I genuinely love to see what people are building. Thanks so much and see you next week.